You are listening to the Why Smart Women podcast, the podcast that helps smart women work out why we repeatedly make the wrong decisions and how to make better ones. From relationships, career choices, finances, to faux fur jackets and kale smoothies. Every moment of every day, we're making decisions. Let's make them good ones. I'm your host, Annie McCubbin, and as a woman of a certain age, I've made my own share of really bad decisions. Not my husband. I don't mean him, though. I did go through some shockers to find him. And I wish this podcast had been around to save me from myself. This podcast will give you insights into the working of your own brain, which will blow your mind. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I'm recording, and you are listening on this day. Always was, always will be, Aboriginal land. Well, hello, smart women, and welcome back to the Why Smart Women podcast. Here I am sitting in my apartment in DY, New South Wales, Australia, with David. Hello, David.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I tell you, I don't want to brag.
Mm.
I do not want to brag, but
You
I'm
sure
going
about
to.
that? Yeah,
No,
yeah.
It is ridiculously nice. I've been in the city today doing some coaching, and it's this perfect spring, sort of warm but not hot weather. It's beautiful.
It's lovely. Why is that bragging?
Well, because there'll be people that are listening to this that are in nasty weather,
Oh, yeah, okay.
glum weather or unpleasant weather or rainy weather.
Sorry about that. Sorry if your weather's not good. Yeah, it is nice here today.
Mm.
I believe in a recent podcast you shared some of your book with people. You know, your emerging embryonic book at the moment.
I did, and since then, I did do that, and since then I have had some regret.
Oh, really?
Well, a little bit, because, for instance, I was talking to my friend Odile yesterday, and for anybody who listens regularly, Odile Leclasio is the actor who plays the character of Kat. So she voices her in my other two books. But anyway, I was talking to her yesterday about the book I'm writing about the wild birth, which is where people birth without any medical intervention, knowledge, or interference. And it's extremely dangerous, and mothers and babies keep dying because it comes under the everything natural safe mantle, which is crap, because women died and still do die when they don't have medical support constantly, because childbirth is natural but potentially dangerous. Anyway, I was telling Odile, and Odile had read that draft, how I've written it that the character is birthing in Lawson in the Blue Mountains in a snowstorm in the middle of winter. And I had it that the room was freezing and she'd been in this unheated birthing pool for 3 days. And Odile said to me, well, why is the room cold?
Someone left the window open?
Because I'd had the windows open. I don't know why I'd written that, but I had. And she said, why is the room freezing, and how are they heating the water? And I said, they're not. And she said, so what? She's sitting in cold water in a freezing room for 3 days. I said, yeah. And she said, well, she'd be dead from hypothermia. And that was a good point. So I've had to now go back and rewrite. Right. I had to do a massive rewrite. There's other things that are wrong with it as well. But the thing about it is that the central character that I'm writing, so her sister has decided to have this unmedicalized, unsupported wild birth because she has bought into this almost cult-like philosophy that women know how to birth, like animals know how to birth, and it's just doctors just interfere in that process. And something goes badly wrong at the end of the birth. I won't say what, but the doula or the midwife is going to end up in a court case, being held accountable for this disaster that happens at the end of this wild birth. And but the character, the sister of Harper, who's actually gone through the wild birth, refuses to acknowledge. This is the mother who's been through this disastrous 3 days of excruciating birthing, and she refuses to acknowledge that the midwife is culpable when clearly the midwife has encouraged her to go down this route, and she has done that.
Yeah.
But then Beth, the sister, the lead girl's sister, who's been through this terrible birth, keeps saying, well, this is what happened, it was meant to be, the universe has prevailed, and tragedy is as valid as triumph. So she holds this reality which then exonerates the midwife and herself from any responsibility for this disaster, which I will not describe exactly what it is because I don't want to give it away, which of course is a massive post-rationalisation of a bad decision.
Yeah.
And as we know, we make decisions all the time based on the emotional fluxes of our brain, and then we post-rationalise them, don't we, David?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm just sort of thinking about the kind of thought process, the character who has decided to have the wild birth and refuses to accept that the doula is culpable.
And all the way through it, she's refusing to accept that she needed to get help.
Yeah. And so, you know, I don't know what it's going to be like, you know, coming from the mouth of a male, but I know that there is this idea, which is my body, my life, my decision. My body, my life, my decision. If I value my own sense of agency, if I elevate that story. My body, my life, my decision. If I elevate that to a certain height, then I'm going to make a bad decision. You know, possibly. I mean, for some people, I mean, you say that women die in childbirth all the time.
Well, they do. Well, they certainly do in third world countries.
Okay, yeah.
And just walk through a cemetery here, and you'll see how many children died of diseases that they are now vaccinated against, except if you're an anti-vaxxer, then you don't. The child recently died of measles, of course. It's just madness.
I tend to think a couple of generations ago, when there wasn't this medical intervention, this wasn't this support, there wasn't the education around it, it was more commonplace for families to have a lot of children because they knew that one or two of them were probably going to die.
100%.
My father was the firstborn. The secondborn, he only found out that there was a secondborn when he was in his 50s. Because what my grandparents did was that their relationship was so close. My grandmother on my father's side had that baby. The baby died and no one talked about it. And it was just, it was never referred to again. So, yeah, my father had a sibling who died at childbirth and it was just completely swept under the carpet. You know, it was just completely normalised. You know, they got on with their life.
It's so that period, isn't it? When it was like, I know I grew up with my parents saying in some cultures life is cheap. I remember as a child thinking, oh, okay, they mustn't care if life is cheap. They mustn't care if a child dies, but it's not the truth. It's just a different way of handling loss and, I guess, and death. And now we acknowledge the pain, we acknowledge the fracture in the family, we acknowledge that it's going to have a kick-on effect to other people in the family.
Look, we now refuse to accept that a woman in childbirth should be subject to the dangers, just the very natural dangers of the way that Homo sapiens reproduce. You know, it's much harder on the women than it is on the men.
Yeah.
And
capuchin monkeys, I think, do it really easily.
Capuchin monkeys?
I think so.
Look,
it's quite good.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you could have the capuchin method.
You could have, I think they. In fact, I won't look it up, but I know in another chapter of the book I've written about capuchin monkeys and how they give birth in. I could be making this up. 10 minutes or something. It's really quick.
But look, I think what you're saying.
I'd like to be a capuchin monkey.
I can't help you with that. I'm sorry.
If I believed in reincarnation,
yes,
which I don't believe in it,
you'd be a little monkey.
I wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't choose a monkey myself.
I wouldn't mind being a little capuchin. They're super cute. They swing around, in the jungle and then making really cute noises at each other.
I think I'd be a Galapagos tortoise.
Is that because you want to live to 100 and...
Oh, no, it's a nice life,
What would your name be? I'd call you Kevin.
Kevin the turtle.
Don't you reckon? What would my name
tortoise.
be if I was a capuchin monkey?
Annie.
Annie?
If you're a capuchin monkey...
Yeah.
This is the most ridiculous diversion that you've gone down.
I know, but...
if you were a monkey...
Would we be friends?
I would call you... I certainly wouldn't call her Blodwin. I would call you...
what?
Squeaky.
No,
yeah.
Not Squeaky.
Yeah. You'd be very squeaky as a capuchin monkey. I'm sure you would be.
You can keep talking while I look up how long it takes them to give birth. Go on.
Goodness gracious me.
Right, off you go.
I think the point that we're making, and you'll correct me, I have no doubt about that, if you think I'm wrong, is that, the current state of affairs when it comes to childbirth is that in first world countries, we embrace the kind of support that women are given when they're going through that incredibly tumultuous. For some people, easy. They have a capuchin monkey birth. Great, lovely, congratulations. But the fact is that other people have tremendous challenges, and without disclosing too much about the birth of both of our children, there is no way that I think anybody would have survived had there not been the medical intervention that you had.
Oh, I would have. Yeah, everyone would have died.
Probably both
times.
Dreadful.
Just absolutely dreadful. I'm super lucky I was in hospital, right?
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm not lucky. It's because I used my brain and went to a hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, but you were lucky that you had the brain and the culture where you realised that was your priority, not everybody. We sometimes look at people who make good decisions and their life, goes in a very good direction because of that, and we think, oh yeah, it's it's just a function of the good decisions that you've made. But
listen to this.
Oh, you've got your figure now.
This is gestation periods. It won't give me the actual birth.
Okay.
But it's giving me gestation
How
periods.
long does it take to grow a monkey in your belly?
No, I'm diverting. I'm going to the whale shark.
The whale shark,
which is the largest
Huge.
fish in the ocean, has a gestation period. Can you imagine this? Especially if you had morning sickness, that can span 3.5 years. Right.
But they're swimming. Okay, they don't have to carry the baby around.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So they're like in a permanent float tank.
Oh, that's true. This is for some reason this is not giving me. I can distinctly remember reading the duration of their pregnancy is 5 to 6 months, so that's pretty good. I didn't want to know that.
I would have thought that it wouldn't have been that much shorter, to create a capuchin monkey baby in the womb. I wouldn't have thought that would have been much shorter than it would take to grow a human being. I mean, of course, we're bigger. But if you think about those little monkeys when they're born, I think, don't they have to immediately be able to grip grip so that they don't fall?
Yeah, human babies are useless. Listen to this. The animal with the shortest pregnancy is the stripe-faced dunnet, which is spelt Dunnart.
Is it a mammal?
I'm about to tell you. It's a small Australian marsupial with a gestation period of approximately 11 days.
11 days. Well, marsupials...
I want to come back as a dunnet.
As a dunnet. You know that when marsupials give birth, it's almost like they're giving birth to a little partially formed embryo, and then they do the rest of their development in the pouch. But that's incredible. Only 11 days?
But listen to this. The Virginia... If it's got an O before a possum, is that just possum?
No, it's still that's an opossum.
Oh,
opossums are different to possums, actually.
The Virginia opossum also has an extremely short pregnancy, lasting only 12 to 13 days. They're both marsupials, meaning the young are born in a highly underdeveloped state and continue to develop in the mother's pouch. All right.
Who are you, Bindi Irwin?
I know. I don't know what's happened to me. I'm now going, when I'm reincarnated.
Oh, you want to be an opossum?
No, I want to be a dunnet.
A dunnet.
A dunnet.
A little Australian marsupial.
And the animal that has the hardest birth, is the giraffe.
Of course.
But it's only, what? It only has 30 to 60 minutes of labour. I've lost the plot. Anyway, my point is that we have all this help and people still make terrible decisions that endanger their lives and the lives of their babies, and then they post-rationalise it about something about freedom and whatever.
Yeah, freedom and whatever. Yeah, it's very articulate of you.
Thank you.
Look, and it's not it's not just hearsay or urban myths. We've got a number of anecdotes. You know, people that we know. You know, I remember one chap thought it would be lovely for his partner to give birth in an ocean pool. And get this, you know, they choose a remote ocean pool that was, you know, miles and miles away from not only just the nearest hospital but the nearest settlement. So there they are in this, you know, lovely ocean pool, and she's having contractions and all of that. Something went wrong.
Amazing, did it? How incredible that something can go wrong in the birth process. So unusual.
As it can go wrong, and the baby died.
Of course.
You know?
No, not of course. And that's terrible.
Look,
and people are vulnerable to these false narratives and these cult-like thinking.
And this is the point. I think some people, sometimes smart women, do make bad decisions.
Well, smart people make bad decisions.
Smart people make bad decisions.
You know, we have some...
Did you know that was the title of your first book?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, good. I just wondered whether if you understand. So I think the reality that we're acknowledging is that sometimes smart women make bad decisions, if I could use the title of your book. But, you know, some people make bad decisions. And
it's not particularly relevant, is it? Oh, I'll just get closer to the mic. And the people that we know, we have a number of people in our friendship group who have parents who have and are making poor decisions in relation to their own families. And they're not dumb. This is not a lack of intellect.
Yeah. And so I guess I think what we were talking about earlier today is that a lot of people of our generation, you know, at our you know in our 30s, 40s, and 50s or so, we are in. I called it the hamburger generation, but you called it the sandwich generation.
It's the sandwich generation.
Sandwich generation.
You're dealing with children.
Okay, yeah,
and you're dealing with aging parents at the same time.
At the same time, and what I think both of those two groups have in common is that there is a desire for agency. So we all know that children. You know, they sometimes want to have more responsibility.
Like teenagers,
you know, they want to go out, they want to drive, you know, they want to, you know, have certain relationships with people. And as a parent, you look at that and you go, well, hang on a minute, I don't know that you are equipped to make good decisions about, you know, what you do, what you eat, you know, how you spend your time, what you put into your body.
And we know that there's a lot of risk-taking in that cohort in those teenage years, because, especially in boys, the prefrontal cortex, so the part of your brain that is involved in rational thinking, executive function, decision-making, and risk management, that part of your brain in males doesn't develop until they're 25. And I would say I know a lot of males where it hasn't developed in their...
them at all.
They're in their 50s and we're still waiting for that prefrontal... Not you. Wasn't meaning
no.
But we're still waiting for that prefrontal cortex to come online.
Okay, so you've just moved from fact, and yes, we do know that there's an evolutionary advantage for young men to be risk-taking.
And what is that? Please extrapolate.
Well, it's because... that's how people learn. It's how you find what you're capable of being, you know, in the world, in the environment.
Pushing the boundaries.
And if we think about the role of young men
and also being attractive to the females, right?
Okay. Young men in primitive communities, they needed to do things that were a bit risky. They needed to go hunting. You know, they might need to go to war. They need to be able to demonstrate that they could protect those that are in their care. So the only way that they get those, you know, those skills for protection is to put themselves into some danger, learn how to deal with it. And so that kind of rational, more risk-averse, more conservative thinking actually doesn't come online in the male brain until our mid-20s.
Until they're 50.
And the thing is, and this is the thing that I think that you've been noticing, is that sometimes, and you are actually talking a bit more about the males of the species, you know.
I am talking about
older men.
Sorry, I don't mean to be pejorative.
Yep, older men. Here's the construct that there are some older men who are actually not making very good decisions about how they spend, their twilight years or their sunset years or whatever you want to call it. They're not making good decisions about the kind of environment that they live in or the people that they hang out with or what they do with their acquired wealth.
And I think that's right. And if I sort of look around my the cohort of my friends, I can think of 4 examples where the men have either their partner has either died or there has been a divorce, and without the steadying hand of the female, they have lost the plot.
Yep.
I would say gone off the rails.
Let me describe, I guess, the no names, no pack drill, the archetypical. It's almost like the Pilgrim's Progress, the hero's journey, but the kind of journey that you are talking about here is that when a man of a certain age finds himself with assets and time on their hands and
let's just remind ourselves that those assets were built up in a union by them and their wife, and the wife has either passed away or they are divorced, but they didn't do it on their own. Those assets were built either with the support that they could work because the wife, especially in that generation, stayed at home and reared their children, or else the wife was also working. So the asset that was built up is not theirs alone. And yet there is this sense, well, it's mine, I'll do what I like with it, which is not right and ethically incorrect, right?
Well,
ethically iffy.
Ethically iffy. So look, the spectrum of decisions that one could make in that particular period, let's imagine that you've left a union, you now are independent. Perhaps you still have a relationship of the offspring of that union, so there's your family. There's your family, you could really focus on them, you could be of service to them, you could enjoy their company, you could get to know them more, you could get to know them as growing adults, etc., etc., etc. But what we do notice in enough of these circumstances that we have observed, that there is an archetypical story about a man of a certain age, what do you want to call it, falling in love or getting attached, or being that they are... that they can start again with another partner.
Generally younger.
That they can start again, they can have another relationship, they can help another younger woman perhaps, realise her potential, by being the benefactor. And we've seen interest in the biological family wane with the new interest in the new relationship.
Yeah, I think it's right. There is a waning of interest in the original family and a sort of uptick of interest in the new family.
Yes.
And it does definitely, just in our experience, and of course this is anecdotal, this is not data, but in our experience it is these older men, and I think there's a sense of flattery with it, don't you think, that a younger woman is interested in them, and a sense of new and exciting things. The old life was maybe a bit boring, a bit pedestrian.
Yes.
But the thing about it is that how does the original family, like the children, the adult children that have sort of been left aside, how do they intervene in this process? Because in our experience, what happens is, as soon as there is infirmity or an ailment with the older male, the reliance on the original family is reignited. So, yeah, and actually I can think of 4 examples of this where the older male left their family, gone to the new one, and then as soon as they get sick, the new family's disinterested because they're older and they need things.
Yeah.
And then they return into the fold. It happened to a friend of mine.
The prodigal dad.
The prodigal dad. It happened to a friend of mine, and so he left the family. Went to this much, much younger woman who had a small child, did it, moved in with her, or she moved in with him, did all the caring for the child. And then then he had a heart condition, and my friend was rung by the younger woman and said, well, I can't look after him. He needs to come to you. Can you take him to an appointment? Can he come and stay with you? And then, of course, because you're genetically attached, then you're in this awful invidious position where you're like, well, I haven't seen you for a decade and you've built a new life, but now you need me. What do I do? It's awful.
Mm-hmm. And you can't turn your back on a parent, your mum or your dad.
No.
And I noticed that we're being very cautious to be, to be transparent about the fact is, we haven't looked at the double-blind study, we haven't looked at the social research on this. We're going much more off our own experience,
anecdote by anecdote,
anecdotal experience, which, as we know, is not the whole story. But was it on Netflix that we saw The Four Seasons? Now, The Four Seasons was originally a film made by Alan Alda.
Yeah.
And then
it's really good.
Tina Fey, Steve Carell, fantastic cast. They've done a reboot of The Four Seasons.
Yeah.
And it was presented as a 4-part miniseries, not giving away too many spoilers. It's very much about a man who has decided that he wants to have a relationship with a younger woman, and the drama that ensues is all about the soundness or otherwise of his decision making. Now, as I describe all of this, and we could come from this from the perspective that an older man who wants to start a new life with a new woman or a younger woman or a new family, that doing that is necessarily going to be flawed. I don't believe that to be true.
Well,
I think
if they have managed to do that, there's conditions on that. You can do what you like. You can go and form a new relationship. Absolutely, it's within your rights.
That's right. That's the value.
Where it's ethically iffy is where you are distancing yourself from your original family, which might include your adult children and your grandchildren, and then returning to them when you have need, after sort of abandoning them. I find that ethically really awful.
Yeah. So I mean, if you describe it like that, I'll only invest in this relationship when I'm getting my needs met. We know that that's not a recipe for a good relationship.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. And so, look,
how do you intervene? Number
how
one.
do you intervene? And
number one. What's they probably have the men in my circle, I'm sure, have convinced themselves that they're perfectly right, because that's what people do. They make an emotional decision, like I just want someone young and it'll make me feel young, and then they post-rationalise it with some sort of frame-up that they're doing it for some more moral reason. But really, I think they just like the idea of being with someone younger. And that in itself is not bad. Depends what you do with that. But what do we do? Because if someone's acting irrationally, how do you impact on that? Because God knows there's plenty of it.
Yeah. Okay. This is the root challenge of anybody who is interested in critical thinking and supporting other people to make decisions that are good decisions, that are in their own best interests or in the best interests of the family or the community that is going to be supporting them later on in their life. So, sorry to get all biblical about it. But in situations...
You have gone super biblical lately. Can I just say that? You also did some post with Jesus or something on the Mount.
No, it wasn't on the Mount. It was Jesus going into the synagogue and turning out the money changers and the merchants.
So what's with all the biblical
And
references?
the pigeon sellers. You really want to know?
No, not really. I don't really like it.
Well, hang on a second. What, you don't like it?
Not really.
Do you want me to give it to you in a nutshell?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so coming from a Christian background, I've been trying to make sense of what I think works about that religion from a humanistic point of view, and I've come down to the 3 instrumental words: faith, hope and love. And the greatest of these is love. I think it's Matthew 13 or something like that. And it suddenly occurs to me that those 3 words are probably really good self-instructions for life. So if you have faith, it's not about having to believe in something, but if you have faith, everything's okay. You know, everything's going to be all right.
But everything's not okay.
Well, no, everything's...
No, everything's not okay. Why is everything okay? If you've just, you're living over there in Gaza and you've just had your home destroyed, how is everything okay?
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the environment is okay, but if you take the specifics of relationships, are you sure you want to go here?
No, not really, because it might
are.
irritate me. Also, can I just say one thing? Is that if I die, or for whatever reason, if you divorce me, right? Let's just say,
what you're talking about us going our separate ways.
Yeah,
I'm having Ryder.
I don't want.
I'm keeping right. You're saying you don't want Yo-Yo.
I do want
I'll
Yo-Yo.
have both the dogs.
I do want. Oh, look! Look at her. You've hurt her feelings.
No, you hurt her feelings. You were the one who was rejecting her.
You just said I want Ryder.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to make sure.
No.
Dibs on Ryder and Yo-Yo as well.
No, you.
I want to have a functional relationship with the children.
If you had actually really wanted Yo-Yo, you would have said, I want both the dogs, but you gave yourself away. And that is some applied rhetoric right there.
I thought nominating Ryder was funnier. So
anyway, if I die or something else bad happens...
What would I do?
Well,
how would faith, hope and love help me in that situation?
Please stop talking about faith, hope and love. It's going to drive me mental. If you find somebody 30 years younger and then go and, I don't know, live in, I don't know, where would you go? Go and live in Wagga.
Wagga? No, Nimbin.
If you go up north and turn into some sort of anti-vaxxer start selling organic vegetables with the girl...
And if it was a lovely 30-year-old, the first thing that I would do, the first present that I would give her was your books. And I'd ask her to read them, Why Smart Women Make Bad Decisions, Why Smart Women Buy the Lies. Yeah. And then I would ask her, so what did you think of those books? Yeah. And depending on her response...
And she'd say, is this from your dead wife?
Yeah, this is my dead wife's books.
Yeah. Anyway, if
you think I'd get a second date? I want you to read my dead wife's books and tell me what you think of them.
Well, I think that this girl's name is Freya.
Freya? I like the name Freya.
No. Her name is Fern.
No, I like Freya.
No, we're going for Fern.
Fern?
Anyway, if you end up in... Where are you going to be? Byron Bay? Nimbin with Fern.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even believe in the afterlife, but I will come back and I will haunt you
Why?
and make your life a misery.
Why? That's not a very loving thing to do, to make my life a misery.
I would, though.
Okay, fine. Look, I accept that. So I'll leave you our address in Nimbin. That's where we will be. We'll be in Nimbin. We won't be anywhere else.
And what about the dogs?
The dogs?
Yo-Yo.
Yeah, they're coming with me.
Even Yo-Yo?
Yeah. I'm fond of Yo-Yo. I wouldn't leave Yo-Yo to someone cruel like you.
I'm not... What? Oh, this is if we divorce.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I mean, somebody who does not have faith, hope and love in her heart can not possibly look after that dog.
Anyway, but back to I'm still alive, so we don't have to worry about that currently. How do you intervene in these situations where someone in your life is making decisions that are to their detriment and to the detriment of others? How do you intervene?
You have to take the speck of dust from your own eye before you can remove
you stop
that.
being biblical?
Okay. You have to look at your own thinking first. You've got to look at your own critical thinking first.
Yeah, well, I've done that. What next?
And be methodical and accountable for your application of critical thinking to that situation.
Oh, my God. Well, that This is a whole lot of gobbledygook.
It's not.
It is.
Okay.
And you said absolutely nothing then.
No,
you just
that-
like the sound of yourself saying
No,
things.
that's not true. No, look, I'll talk to you about how I would apply it. But you see, the thing is, this is what I find with you sometimes, Annie. When I talk about the methodical application of the critical thinking skills that you are teaching,
Yes.
you go, yeah, right, whatever. You're boring me now.
I started it.
Yeah, I know you did start it.
I started the whole
I
critical
know you started
thinking
it,
thing,
and-
so you can't now usurp me.
I'm not usurping you. I'm not usurping you. I'm just saying you've identified, really constructive things to do so that you don't create drama.
That's enough, Kevin.
What, Kevin the tortoise?
Yes.
No, okay. So I think what I would recommend with somebody
Okay,
trying
let's just
to
say
pursue-
I'm being intractable
if you're being intractable.
and I've made terrible decisions. Go on.
well,
Have a shot.
have it.
And I'm intractable, stubborn, and
Yeah,
on.
okay.
Go on.
Oh well, I'd ask what's going on at the moment that makes you think that this is the right decision for you to make.
Well, I don't
Help
know.
me understand what's going on
I've
for
made
you.
my own decisions, and I don't need to be. I don't have to answer to anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
That's true. And tell me about not having to answer to anybody. I mean, that just means what? That
Well, I don't have to justify my decision making to you or anybody.
yeah.
This is the conversation that one of the men had with one of my friends.
Yeah. Can I tell you about my concern?
Oh. Okay, now that is a good point. You have actually made a good point, David.
Oh, have I? Oh, good.
Yeah, because you've dropped status, so you're not being inflammatory, and
Yeah.
you've said, "Can I tell you what?"
That's all I'm concerned about.
Oh, are you concerned?
I am.
Okay, what are you concerned about?
Okay. Oh, goodness gracious me. I would pick something specific in terms of, what might be happening in the future. I know that, currently you've got this condition under control.
Yeah.
So it could be a physical condition.
Let's say it's a heart condition,
A
because
heart
this
condition.
guy had a heart
Okay,
condition.
you've got your heart condition under control.
Well, I don't actually. I've got to have a couple of stents put in.
Yeah,
Can I
okay.
stay with you?
Look, absolutely.
Can I?
Of course.
Oh, really? That's nice.
If
I just
you're-
need tea and toast in the morning, and the newspaper brought to me, and then I'm good.
Yeah. Happy to provide.
Ooh, that went well.
But I don't know. Yes, I guess so.
Well, my friend said no.
Oh. What did your friend say? Your friend said, no, I want to be on my own?
No. She just said, I can't. We don't have capacity to have you here. We're up and gone at 5 o'clock in the morning. We've got stairs in the house. What are we going to do?
Oh, right. Okay. So if I can't provide tea and toast in the morning, what is this the kind of conversation where I'm going to be saying, listen, if you're out on your own. You can't come back here and we're not going to be able to look after you? Is that
Yes.
what you're saying?
Well, she just sort of had to say, look, I wish we could have you, but unfortunately, we're not set up to have you.
Right. Well, so you're talking about a different situation now.
Oh, okay. I'm so
Okay.
sorry. I'm an older male and
yep.
about to make a bad decision.
Okay, and so the first thing that I'll ask is, okay, so what's happening at the moment? What are you hoping for? What's ideal for you? What are you moving towards?
Well, I just like to take it one day at a time.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I don't like to plan too much in the future.
Right. Yeah. Can I tell you what my concerns are?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what the future's going to hold when you're actually going to need a bit more support than you currently need at the moment. Like, we know that you've got a heart condition,
Yeah.
something physical, or we
Yeah.
know that this is your financial situation, or, we know that you like to do this particular activity
I do.
and you want to be able to continue doing that activity. My concern is that
Yeah.
if you go in this direction, in this way,
Yeah.
100%, if you're all in,
Yeah.
then it's certainly going to get in the way of us being there to help you when you need our help.
I probably won't need your help.
Okay. Tell me about that. Let's explore
Well,
that. I mean, what are you thinking? I mean, you're saying, how is this going to work? Because I can tell you.
Well, I've always been pretty independent.
Yeah, of course, you have.
I mean, I'm 82 now,
Yes, indeed.
but I've been pretty well.
How
and-
long do you think your independence is going to continue for? Your physical independence, or
Oh, well, apart from the heart issue, I don't know. Let's see. I just want to take it a day at a time.
Yeah. Okay.
Just
When we get into those days when you actually need continuous help, do I need to spell it out? You're this age at the moment. in 15 years' time, 10 years' time, you know, will you still be able to, do you still truly believe that you'll be able to live day by day in 15 years' time independently?
Yeah, probably not. I guess the intelligence behind that line of questioning is you're not saying you're wrong. You're not looking at the future. You're not taking care of yourself. What you're doing is asking the person who's in current denial to have some curiosity about their own future. And I think that's all we can ever do, isn't it? Really, is to try and get them to come to the conclusion themselves rather than saying, you're being an idiot.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? 8 years' time, you're going to be screwed. There's no point because then they get defensive. But by saying, well, what do you see in the future? How do you see this playing out?
Yeah.
Where would you be living? Because we live here. Now, how would we get to you, which makes their brains, I guess, get into the problem-solving part of their brain, right?
Yeah.
Which gets them out of that emotional brain where they just want to go, la, 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 I'm happy, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the ideal. One of the things that I know about all of our professional development work and all of the work that we do in terms of coaching and therapy is that I think we're doing a good job when we give people a greater sense of their own agency.
Absolutely.
You know, their own sense of being able to make decisions that are going to impact in positive ways on the things that they care about.
Yep.
You know, be it their own future or the future of their family, or now the things that we can't control is the things that they care about.
Yeah.
You know, so if we give someone,
That's right.
if we give someone a wholesale license or wholesale agency to do whatever it is that they want, and they are not equipped to make a good decision, then that's probably not a good choice. It's certainly not a good parenting choice.
Like with the teenager you go, take my car.
You take my car and, take a bottle of vodka as well.
Yeah, off
because
you go.
then you'll be able to smuggle it into the party and get all your friends drunk. You know, so, who wouldn't want to do that as a
16-year-old.
A 16-year-old boy.
Yeah.
So there are times when we are parenting when we have to go, no, I don't think you're equipped to make this particular decision. I think what gets really tricky is when we have to have a similar kind of conversation with a parent, if you like, or one of our elders. And you only, again, you can look at dramatic art. We were talking about the Four Seasons. And in the Four Seasons, the friends and the family really have to wrestle with whether the guy who has decided to have the relationship with the younger woman...
After leaving his wife. Was this a good decision? Was he using his faculties well? We can look at a play like King Lear. Sorry to get all classical on you. I'm fine with the classics.
But
I like the classics. I'm just a bit sick of the biblical stuff.
Okay, yes. It's such a small contributor to the life that we lead at the moment. So if I go to a play like King Lear is all about an older male who has a thought in his head which is unrealistic, and he won't be persuaded that the way that he is seeing things is suboptimal. He can't see and actually gets aggressive when he defends his right to, fundamentally just behave badly in front of his children and the rest of the kingdom. So, yeah, there is a challenge that I think...
Well, being defensive is a very natural response. Nobody wants to be criticised.
Nobody wants to have their agency taken away from them.
Or their identity punctured.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
So being defensive is a very, very natural and human response. It's just incredibly unhelpful and difficult to deal with.
The vexed moment is when you are dealing with, I think, anybody who is a grown adult. It could be a parent, it could be an aunt, could be a friend, could be a colleague. When they are of the age where you would expect them to have good critical thinking and making good decisions about their future, when they just don't. And you then have to say, no, this is no longer your decision.
Very tricky.
It is very tricky.
And very salient. Well, on that note, Kevin, did you name me my capuchin?
Yeah, Squeaky.
I don't want to be Squeaky.
Well, you're not.
I want to be...
You're not going to be a capuchin. I hate to disappoint you.
Oh. I'm going to think of a name for myself and come up with it. Anyway, thanks for listening, smart women. Look, all of us have people in our lives who are difficult. Difficult situations where we're trying our best to navigate our way through these dynamics of these interpersonal relationships. And I've got to say, it's really hard, but to adopt some of these practices to try not to get too emotionally aroused by the situation, to try not to bring too much emotion into an already vexed situation, which just then inflames things, but to come at it to the best of your ability from a place of critical analysis of the way you think, and then try and get the person that you're talking to be a bit curious about the way they are seeing their situation is all we can offer at this point. But I just want to say, if anybody is going through any of this with a family member, it's really tough, and I feel for you. So
it sounds like faith and hope to me, what you just said.
Oh my God.
Oh.
So thanks for listening. Wherever you are in the world, stay safe, stay well, keep your critical thinking hats on. See you later. Bye. Thanks for tuning into Why Smart Women with me, Annie McCubbin. I hope today's episode has ignited your curiosity and left you feeling inspired by my anti-motivational style. Join me next time as we continue to unravel the fascinating layers of our brains and develop ways to sort out the fact from the fiction and the over 6,000 thoughts we have in the course of every day. Remember, intelligence isn't enough. You can be as smart as paint, but it's not just about what you know, it's about how you think. And in all this talk of whether or not you can trust your gut, if you ever feel unsafe, whether it's in the street, at work, in a car park, in a bar, or in your own home, please respect that gut feeling. Staying safe needs to be our primary objective. We can build better lives, but we have to stay safe to do that. And don't forget to subscribe, rate and review the podcast and share it with your fellow smart women and allies. Together, we're hopefully reshaping the narrative around women and making better decisions. So until next time, stay sharp, stay savvy, and keep your critical thinking hat shiny. This is Annie McCubbin signing off from Why Smart Women. See you later. This episode was produced by Harrison Hess. It was executive produced and written by me, Annie McCubbin.